What's up guys, this is Adam from 3dmodelsworld.com. Welcome to another Maya tutorial, and today we're gonna create this really cool procedural planet in Maya. So basically no 2D textures, no Photoshop, nothing like that, all gonna be in Maya and Arnold and using 3D textures. So without further delay, let's get started. Okay guys, so this is the scene I have. So I have like this sphere been created with an 8 unit. Now it have like a Maya default shader on it, and then I have an HDRI set up here with Arnold with a nice gorilla and elephant in the back. So this HDRI gonna help us like get a nice, like a lighting, just to get like a nice reflection and stuff. I'll show you later, and then later we can set up if we need to another like a manual lighting. But for now, it's gonna do a pretty good job. Okay, so let's keep this guy here, and then let's assign new material to the sphere, and then let's go with Arnold. AI standard surface. So now we're gonna set up like the water and land area. So with here, let's go to the color, and then we're gonna create cloud. So this is gonna be a really good 3D texture. You can see here already looks promising. And then let's start playing here with the settings. So first things first, let's create the colors for the basic colors, let's say, for the land and then the ocean parts. So let's see. So let's make this black is the ocean, and then you know what? Let's make this is the land part. Color 1 and then color 2. There's no reason why I selected. You can switch any of them, doesn't really matter. And then you can see though the colors is kind of mushed up and we don't have a clear, distinction between the land and the water. It's kind of like everything looks pretty weird. So the trick for this, in Maya always there's a trick for something. So the trick is to deselect soft edges. So now you get a more accurate representation of the colors. And also we can adjust this contrast to bring the colors more, to be really super bright. This looks like more like a nuked area almost, so we don't want to go that far. So maybe like something like this. And then we can adjust the amplitude as well. So we start to get more like a nicer representation. Okay, and then the next thing we can, because you can see if you click this, then you're not really getting anything. Unless that's the look you're going for, then please click soft edges. If not, just follow along with me. And then we're gonna start playing with this area here. It's not really much things we can do. I mean, it will help, adjust. Like one thing you want to keep in mind though, like the ratio. If you go too low in it, you're gonna start to have like this really soft, no details. And we really want for the lens to have a nice detail. So we're gonna go higher number here. Doesn't need to be too high unless you want to, that's fine. Maybe something like this. Just play with these settings and see which one visually looks good. And then one more thing what we can do here is we can play with the scale of the 3D texture. So if we go to the viewport and when we scale this, you can see we start to get really nice result. You can rotate it, you can do whatever you want with this. So this looks pretty good. So we can keep this as is for now, and then we can rotate around here. See, that's why we have HDRI, so we can quickly look around, see from all angle. It looks pretty good. Okay, looks sweet. Okay, next, what's next to do? Okay, so right now you can see this land, everything is exactly the same color. And if you look at reference, for example, planet Earth, there's desert areas, there's green areas, and in between. So we're not gonna go super detailed into this subject, but since we're doing procedurally, just let's keep going, and we don't want to have manually texture anything. So in the land color, let's click here, and then let's create a ramp. Okay, so now you can see we're getting the new ramp applied. And then here we can play around with the color variations we want. So let's create something more like a desert. You know, it's not gonna be perfect, but you get the picture. And then we're gonna create some areas of green, but not this kind of green. This is too much. Maybe something like this you can see here. And let's keep white here for areas with snow, you know. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I mean, also one more thing, we can play around with this type of the ramp. So circular, for example, you can get like in between, like here. Let's do this. So we're getting more in the center, almost kind of like our planet Earth, like in the center, more like desert, and then spreading green, and then white. Of course, you need to check from all angles, make sure it looks good for you, but you kind of see we're getting pretty nice results. So let's keep it for now like this, and then let's pick up something like this. That looks pretty good. You know, keep it like this for now. Can always come back and add more colors and adjust. One thing, if you want the transition here, we can play around with this value. So the U and V waves, you know, if you go crazy with them, you start to add like a different variation. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And of course, noise, you know, there's like so much things we can do here. It's pretty cool, but could become like a lot of stuff to do. So let's tone this down. Keep it a little bit simple for this tutorial. Maybe something like this for now. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is let's create a displacement map, because you do want to have, like, this is cool, but it looks too flat, and we want to have displacement for the terrain to kind of like become a little bit more realistic. So what we're gonna do, let's go to the hypershade here and start naming some stuff. Okay, so let's go textures, and then this cloud, let's get it like land underscore C. What did I name? Okay, oh, I named, so this is just land. I thought I selected the cloud. Okay, and then this one is land and sea. Underscore C map. It's like literally like the map. Okay, and then what we're gonna do now, we're gonna duplicate this one. Duplicate land and sea. Okay, so we don't want these guys. Let's just delete this. We want, oh, wait, undo. Okay, let's just go to the actual here, and we're gonna call it land and sea displacement. Displacement, and then let's go here. Just make sure, just let's select it again. Come on, let's break the connection here, and then yeah, just delete this guy. Okay, let's see. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna use this as a displacement. So we're gonna change these colors to be more recognizable by the displacement. So let's make this white, black, and then let's select the geo here. Let's go to the displacement section, and we're just gonna drag this guy, put it here, and let's see what happens. Okay, everything goes insane. That's fine. Let's select it. Now the displacement is like extremely high. So let's go to the shape node, go into Arnold, and then go all the way to subdivisions, and then let's change its type to none, to Clark, and then let's add more iterations. Let's say like 4. Okay, so now you can see it's getting more detail, but insane. That's okay, because this is procedural stuff. It's too strong, so we can tone it down here. So we can see here the height is like 1. And one thing good for displacement to the bound padding to change it to 1. And then for the height, let's tone it down. Let's put 0.2. Okay. Start to look like something. And then still extremely strong. So let's go 0.05. Okay, so you can see now it looks like it's we need to reverse the displacement. It's not doing like the correct thing. So let's go back to the displacement. I'm just gonna quickly select it from here. And then let's go to the actual like displacement here, and then let's flip these guys. You can see now we're getting more the land is higher than the ocean, which is pretty cool. That's what we want, but still it's very strong displacement, way too strong. So let's tone it down a lot. So maybe 0.1 here. Okay. Okay, it's still a little bit strong, but looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Okay, sweet. So let's keep going for now, and then maybe let's tone it down a little bit. On a 0.7. Not a huge difference, but maybe better. Okay, so now another thing. Let's do a fun thing. Like if we rotate, and you can see this. Keep an eye on this speck. This speck is kind of going on the land and on the water and everywhere. And we don't want that. Usually the water will be the one that's reflecting, the sun or the light source, and then the land is not going to be as much. Like if I put it here, it's like they are equal. Okay, so how do we solve this? We need to create like it's a specular map that's gonna allow us to have just the water as a reflective kind of part, and then the land is not. Okay, so let's select the shader, go back to it, and then we're gonna plug something here in the weight. Okay, so to create the specular, and let's duplicate the original shader here. Duplicate shading network. Then we're gonna call this specular. If you're still with me, you're amazing. Okay, so now let's delete break connection on this. We don't need that part. And then let's adjust the colors here. Let's keep them like this for now, and then we can adjust later. And then let's select the Earth or the planet. And then let's add the specular to the weight. And then let's select the specular. Then let's take a look and see how this looks. Okay, so this is for the specular. If we go, you see here there's an effects, you can invert the map. So now it's gone from the sea. That's only showing 100% on the land. But we want it to be on the sea, so we don't need to invert it. We just keep it as is. It's hitting the land, but not as much. You can see in the sea hitting a lot more than the land. So that's it does like a nice result, more realistic. Okay, so that's with the specularity. You can always tweak and enhance this stuff. So let's keep moving with the tutorial, and then the next thing we can do is let's create, I think the displacement is still very strong, but that's okay for now. Let's create cloud layer. Okay, so for the cloud layer, probably you already know how we're gonna do it, but let's just duplicate this sphere, and then let's go wireframe, and then let's scale it like a little bit, not too much, like this. Okay, and then let's rename it actually planet clouds. Okay, just hang in with me. We're almost done. I just wanna show you how to do nice clouds here. It's gonna be worth it. Okay, and then we're gonna of course assign new material, and let's go with Arnold, and then we can call this clouds. Okay, and then for the color, let's do the same thing. Let's go with the textures and then cloud. Oh, where did we go with the? There is this guy. Okay, we need to see what's going on. Okay, so this is good. Let's keep things as they are here. We don't need to change anything. And then let's go to the hypershade. And then this cloud one, which it should be the same one. Yes, cloud one. Okay, so let's select the sphere. And then let's go all the way to geometry. And then opacity. And then hopefully we can get both everything here in one on the screen. Then let's just drag the same cloud and put it in opacity. Then you can see now we have a cool clouds. We're not done with them, but this is like a start of having a nice clouds over our and for the clouds, let's see, we can turn off specular. We don't want to have specular on the cloud, so the specular is just hitting the water underneath the cloud and not like necessarily affecting the clouds. Okay, so what else we can do with the cloud? Clouds, usually they're not flat, but right now you can see this is quite flat. We want to add like a displacement map to the clouds. Okay, so you also already know how to do that, but let me show you because it's fun to do together here. Okay, let's go to texture, same cloud here, and then let's go. The screen is not as big as I'd like to. And then let's just take this cloud and then put it in displacement. And let's see what's happening. You can see now these clouds are getting more displaced and they look pretty sweet. You can see there's more depth values applied to them. So it looks more like 3D cloud. That looks pretty sweet. So for the cloud, let's go back to it. We can always adjust the opacity of the cloud. For example, if you go this color gain and you go all the way to 0, now there's absolutely no clouds. And in between, you can have a little bit of the cloud, but this is weird. So you want to go all the way up, but also just go a little bit just below the all the way. Maybe like this. So we kind of have a little bit transparency in the cloud, not super dense. And the values become like super white color. So this can give more, I think, a little bit more natural result. And then let's go to the cloud shader. And then one last thing we can do with this cloud to make it even look cooler. If you go here to the emission, and then we can start playing with this emission. So these clouds start to kind of like have let's say the light go through them. Of course, you can go all the way one. It could work in some situations, but it's kind of too strong. But for us, we just like from 0 here, like nothing, to just a little bit. It makes a difference, trust me. Especially if we A/B with the before and after, you can see like it have a more realistic and more like a nicer, smoother, softer cloud, which looks kind of cool. You can see we didn't really change much here with the settings, we just kept them the same. And as always, I should probably rename all these stuff so we know what's what, but for this tutorial it's fine. We can always scale these clouds so you can get the different variations. And then if you're gonna animate them, the trick, you can just rotate this guy, animate it, it will be rotating the clouds around, but you don't want to overdo it, obviously. Don't want too much rotation. But yeah, like you see guys, like that's how basically you can create a planet procedurally in Maya. And I guess you can imagine how much things we can do here. We can do have like a lava planet full of like, red and glowing, and you can add glow in post, you know, if you want to add like more atmospheric glow and stuff. This could be added in post in After Effects or DaVinci Resolve or whatever software you're using. But this is kind of like the key to having this like a nice procedural planet that looks pretty sweet, and then you can highly customize it the way you like. You can have like so many different options you can create this way. So I hope you find this tutorial helpful. I apologize for not posting tutorials for a while. It's we've been busy at 3D Models World updating the website, and we plan to have a lot of really cool 3D models for you guys. So please check it out, and that will help us support us to keep creating for you tutorials like this and more training. Thank you so much always for being checking our videos and supporting us. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.